Item number 9, it's noting of outstanding partially implemented council resolutions. Can the administration please fully flesh it for us?
Council detailed outstanding resolution report extracted on the 24th July 2026 from page 40.
Item 7.
Are you unable to mute them?
Yes.
Item 7. Executive Mayor.
I propose that we note the resolutions.
On bill.
I'll second, Madam Speaker.
To item number 10. It's consideration of reports, non-delegated matters. Can the administration please take us through to the reports?
Section 1, Office of the Municipal Manager, it's items /1/415/07/26. Appointment of an acting municipal manager from 13 August 2026 to 12 November 2026, or until the disciplinary matter of the current municipal manager, M. Memani, is finalized, whichever occurs first, from page 75.
Item 7. Executive Mayor.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, we know that there's 2 officials that comply with the prescribed requirements. I propose that they must introduce themselves.
Thank you. Can Mr. CFO and the acting MN please excuse themselves?
Thank you, Speaker. Good morning, councillors. Good morning, all the administrative officials. Speaker, on page 77, and you know, in terms of subsection 54A, 1B, that a person appointed for an acting period may not exceed 3 months. But however, under point B, the municipal council may, in special circumstances and on good cause shown, apply in writing to the MEC for local government to extend the period of the appointment. We know that we have appointed Mr. Williams to act, and the item does give us clarity on when that appointment will be terminated, the acting appointment, which is the 12th of August. Speaker, I therefore propose that we apply to the MEC for local government to extend the appointment of Mr. Williams, extend his active period. We know that we are currently going into the audited season, compiling our annual financial statements and dealing with other financial related matters. And therefore, Mr. Mapai, who is the other incumbent, must therefore probably focus on the financial section, and that is in this instance the special circumstances for us to ask the MEC to extend the appointment of Mr. Williams. So that's my proposal. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Executive Mayor. On bill.
I will second the proposal of the Executive Mayor.
Thank you very much. Next item.
Next item, it's C1/416/07/26, Section 57, 2024-2025, full year performance evaluation report from page 18.
The item is 7. Executive Mayor.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, if you look at the item, we see there's comments from the Chief Financial Officer with regards to a waiver, and that has been even for the Director of Corporate Services was allegedly overpaid. Then we will go to the comments of the Manager Legal Services. And the comments of the Manager Legal Services just say that the comments of the CFO is noted and that the regular payments made to the Director must be reported to Council for referral to MPEC to investigate and make a recommendation on the recoverability of the overpaid amount. However, if you look at the last comment from legal, it does say that they do support the recommendation from the acting municipal manager. But if we look at the recommendation of the acting municipal manager, and the point number 4, it says that council approves the payment of the performance bonus of the following directors. It then outlined the 2 directors that in terms of the performance evaluation or assessment qualifies for the remuneration. So I want to know, Speaker, can we get clarity on this matter, please? Because I don't see those comments as well as the recommendation from legal, or the comments from legal being filtered into the recommendations from the acting municipal manager, so council can make an informed decision. Then also, while I got the floor, Speaker, I would also like to inform council that the suspended municipal manager is, we all know, is the disciplinary is still ongoing, has filed a dispute with the MEC for local government in relation to his the outcome of his.
Now, we are in this item, and I don't know where the municipal manager who has been suspended fits in here. We are becoming now confused. I thought we were going to finish one and believing that it was supposed to be on the reports, what she's saying now, it was supposed to be on the reports of the executive mayor from the onset, unless there's an item about what she is trying to say now. We must not be confused, please.
Thank you, Councillor Tapai. Executive Mayor.
Speaker, for clarity, the reason why I'm mentioning this precisely is because this performance assessment report is applicable in relation to the 2024-2025 financial year. If you look at the body of the report, it outlines which directorates has been evaluated and also what the outcomes of the process was. However, I did not compile this report. I am giving this information to council because just to inform council that a dispute has been lodged with the Ministry of Local Government. There is current, the Ministry of Local Government has appointed a mediator, and then in terms of the prescribed legislation, that process must be finalized from the lodge of the
Point of order,
Speaker. It's for information for council, because if you read the body of the report, there's nothing
On a point of order.
about that performance.
Point of order.
Thank you, Speaker. I would appreciate if the acting MM and the CFO can just give clarity on the issue that I raised before. Thank you.
Thank you, Executive Mayor. Councillor Mangaba.
I on mute.
Councillor Mangaba.
On mute. Because the last I checked, when a councillor raises a point of order,
What?
must be raised.
I am calling you
Only once.
on your point of order.
Because the point of order is now she's having a tangent and you're allowing her to have it. If she has additional information or information that she wants to bring to council, she can actually have that at motions of exigency. There's a reason why that privileged information she's actually sharing is actually not part of this item.
Thank you, Councillor Mangaba. Councillor Swart. Then,
Speaker, just
Mayor?
regarding this item on page 96, is a report in this item with regards to some of the directors' bonuses as well, and the municipal manager, Mr. Mamani, is mentioned in that. So it is part of the item. It's just not in the resolution.
On a point of order, that is not
Baba?
the writing to the MEC and all that was explained is actually not part of the item. No matter how much they can back each other up, they are out of order.
Councillor Deputy Mayor?
Can I ask for a caucus of 5 minutes, please?
And now it's 22 minutes, then caucus is granted, coming back at 27 minutes past 9. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't notice even you're back from caucus. Councillors, we are back from the 5 years caucus, which was asked by Deputy Mayor. Deputy Mayor?
Madam Speaker, I'm standing here to say let's continue the meeting and also saying that the relevance of mentioning the thing of Mr. Memani here, it's part of the report that shows that we've got the people that were evaluated, so there it is. So irrelevance is there. Secondly, also continuing with the fact that can we get a explanation from the acting MM and also from the CFO and also from legal to guide us through as we find that the alignment we need to have, that they must go to the recommendation of this, as it also concerns that it's only now we find that there was an overpayment of things, and also these things can be proved, can be flooded in front of us, that where now does it come the whole thing of the overpayment and the waivers and everything, so that we can be clear about these things and the alignment. I thank you.
Acting MM, CFO, and the legal manager, I'm giving it to you for your explanation.
Thank you, Speaker.
What is it that in when?
Thank you, Speaker. If I can just take council back to the purpose of this report. And the purpose of this report is about the performance evaluation. And coupled to performance evaluation is the performance bonus. So when this report came in about the assessments that was done, a report was compiled for council, and the CFO was given the opportunity to comment on the report. He then wrote various aspects in terms of waivers and possible, and may I not say possible, but it clearly shows there was an overpaid amount. Now, it also came to my knowledge at that point in time. So I also afforded Mr. Couch to give his comments. Then I made and finalized my recommendations. So my recommendation relates to performance. It does not relate to a historic event. It relates directly to the item under discussion. I want to advise that council give due consideration based on various, and there's previous resolutions regarding waivers and all of them, that information be gathered and that information be worked through. It will either go to MPEC or there's historic recommendation by council in terms of paying certain appointed, either acting or appointed directors. I'm just summarizing briefly, but that be treated as a separate method to recover any overpayment. That is how I see this item.
CFO?
Greeting Speaker, and also the Mayor, Deputy Mayor, and all councillors and administration. My comments were related to my advice to the acting municipal manager, which is in line with Section 65 of the MFMA, where the Section 65 of the MFMA places the responsibility to the accounting officer to recover all monies that are owed to the municipality. Now, based on this item, particular item, which was related to the performance bonus, now this item was to notify the acting MM regarding the monies that are being owed by Director Loli. These were brought to the attention of Director Loliwe, where I notified him after I received the waiver approval, which was then at the time Mr. Felton was the one that was acting. So I brought to his attention that he is, based on the calculation, he owes the municipality a substantial amount. Then upon my discussions, which were sent to him on email, he cited that he will be disputing the waiver approval. Hence, then I said, then we will not implement it up until we dispute it. The reason for his dispute regarding this, it was related to Mr. Lotte, who was then at the time deemed to be the highest highest paid divisional manager, whereas at the time of the application to the minister and the MEC, the calculations were based then on not on the highest, but it was then based on Mr. Mareti and the others. So then that was his contestation to that. Hence, then it was not implemented, and then he never disputed the waiver as according to his affirmation at the time. Then now I did bring this to the acting MM, so that the acting MM is also aware that he owes the municipality, because when one did the calculation, the amount is to keep on escalating on a month-to-month basis. And even moreover, when I look at the council resolution, when he was appointed as in an acting capacity, that council resolution actually resolved that he must be paid similar to the other directors in an acting capacity, which was then, if I look at the council resolution, that acting capacity was only for 1 month. Thereafter, then there was an appointment that was made, which council resolved that he must be remunerated at a specific notch, which was then reflected on the council resolution. So I don't want to mention the amount, but thereafter, the continuation of the waiver of his remuneration in accordance to the waiver, it then continued. It was then stopped in November, and then it was then reinstated. It was stopped in December, and it was then reinstated in January with a retrospective payment. There is instructions that were given to finance, to payday. There is a documentation where the instructions were given outside what was resolved by the council. So it is against that background that I needed to inform the accounting officer. Hence, then there was a payment that is due to Mr. Loli. So then, in terms of Section 65, it was my responsibility to notify the account. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor Papaye.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, this is really tantamount to unfair labor practice. Before I dwell on, did administration consult Mr. Loliwe? Because I'm looking at the deductions and so on, the waiver was wrong. Did they consult him? Because to my understanding, when you are talking about the salary of someone, you must contact him first. Did they do that? I'll just a question, Speaker, and then I'll follow up.
Can I just, Speaker, answer this question? Councillor, just a bit of clarity. Contact him because before this report, or for the purpose of deducting the money to be paid over to him. So if I come to this report, Councillor, at this point in time, he was not contacted to say we foresee, come and agree that we foresee to take your performance bonus.
That is why, Speaker, I'm saying this is tantamount to unfair labor practices. Let me, also, no, Saina.
Give you a chance, Councillor.
Oh, man, no, man, hey, shut up, man, shut up. Oh, man,
Sorry, councillors.
no,
I gave him 5 minutes to talk, then he just wanted to acting MM2 in between that 5
I
minutes.
just needed,
Yeah.
no, I just needed that answer. Then I said I will follow up. What is your problem? So, the CFO is saying, Mr. Loliwe was overpaid. But the waiver is saying Mr. Loliwe must be paid because there was a waiver here. The day started here in Bitou. There were council resolution here. The waiver was approved. Now, to all this, I was here in this council, I'm not mad. To all these directors that are paid more money, it was only Mr. Loliwe that was underpaid. Felix is one of those who was even more paid than anybody who is a director in this municipality, including Mr. Felton was paid more than Mr. Loliwe. That is why we went to say, no, you must apply for waiver. We never as council took a decision to say, no, we are going to pay you. We said it must go the processes where everybody was doing waivers, even the ones that came last year, they were doing waivers. Now I'm trying to say, Speaker, really, I'm saying this is really tantamount to unfair labor practices. If somebody, this is legislated performance bonus, it is legislated that if you agree to give somebody a performance bonus, you must give him or her. Just like what happened to Ms. Paulson. She was not given her performance bonus deserving it. That was tantamount to bad labor practice. But I know the administration listen to the DA. They listen to the DA because they are dirty. They play dirty all the time. So, Speaker, really, I'm against this nonsense. Where, because administration is not government for that man.
Bye-bye. Councillor Teblanche.
Speaker, if I look at the recommendations point 4, I think we are agreeing that we're going to pay these people, because I also want to caution council that we have no grounds to withhold.
Yeah.
There has been previously a court case where the applicant won the court case against such a decision. Should we have taken such a decision now to withhold payments? Yes, the CFO raised the concerns, which is something we value to raise it. But if I go with the recommendation, I would like to support, based on the recommendations what's in front of me, that we go with the recommendations of the acting municipal manager with 1, 2, 3, and 4 that reads: the council approves the payment of performance bonuses to the following directors. A, Mr. Loliwe, director, who qualifies for performance bonus of 9% of his total remuneration package. B, Ms. M. Paulson, former director, community service, who qualifies for performance bonus of 9%, proportionate for 3 months only of a total remuneration package. So therefore, I support the recommendations, Speaker.
Mr. Manglava, then Councillor Swart.
Thank you, Speaker. With this item, I already crafted a debate around what the item is about and what the comments from the CFO are about. And I think what has now saved time for me is the utterances from the acting MM. These are two separate cases. What we're tabling here now is performance bonus. We have scores and results that deems who must get what. Around irregular and recoverable expenditure, that can be dealt with some other time. It can't be set against a person's performance bonus. So I rise in supporting the recommendations as well as they are, and especially point 4 that council approves the payment of performance bonuses to the directors in question, which is Mr. Loliwe and Ms. Paulson, as per the percentage or portion that is actually in the report itself. What we deem is owed and not shall be dealt with on a separate page than the item, because the item in question is just about performance bonus.
Councillor Swart.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I don't think anyone's doubting the fact that the 2 directors are due their bonus. They've earned it. I would just like assurance that the salaries and the packages against which the bonuses are going to be worked out are correct. So in other words, that Mr. Loliwe is correct, and we work out the bonus on the correct salary. That is just my concern. I would just like that assurance that the salary, the package that the 2 directors are going to have their bonuses worked out on are correct, and we work out the correct amount. Yeah. I don't think anyone's doubting that they must be paid. That just needs to be the correct amount that it's worked out.
Thank you.
As to assist Speaker, if then he wants evidence, the annual report must be flighted to them. Exactly.
I'm not asking for evidence.
No, you want it. The annual report will tell us
Don't put words in my
truth.
I didn't ask for evidence. I just asked for sure.
Can we now listen to
Will be assured by the
people here that assist us on this item? So can Mr. Klaus, are you there?
Yes,
Mr. Klaus?
Yes,
Can you also give your side of the story?
Morning, Madam Speaker. Morning, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, or councillors. Madam Speaker, I don't really have a comment. I agree with the assertion and the comments made already by the councillors. I think in my comments, I've stated that these are 2 separate matters. The irregular payments should be reported to council as such, and then that must take its course and be referred to impact, and then it must take its course. Impacts then resolve to recover, then that must be done. But I that's my comment, and I agree with the sentiments that were expressed so far. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Ombia.
Madam Speaker, thank you. Madam Speaker, the crux of the matter is that it revolves around the quantum. It is agreed by everybody that payment must be made. The point, however, is the quantum must be determined on the credit scale. That's why this thing has come about. That's the only point. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think the quantum that needs to be made, definitely, it goes with the waiver that we've agreed here, annual general meeting, ages determination. Now I go with the recommendation, supporting the recommendation that is stated by the acting MM, because even if we want to pick and whatever, but we can never deny anyone's thing, then how much it should be and what it should be, I think that one will be supported by all the things that we worked according, and the payment of Mr. Loliwe that surprises us now that there's an overpayment that has been, there's many ways that we can deduct the overpayment in arrangements.
So it was.
Thank you very much. Councillor Bangaba, I didn't give you time. The item has been proposed by all.
I'm assisting you.
Oh, assisting on me on what? So guess.
Keza.
When did you speak?
Uyageza now.
So
Uyageza ke nawe.
I have speaker when ten was a director Bamanti.
Calm down. Pull yourself towards yourself. One Gezel now.
Councillor Branch, you proposed the item and it is seconded by the deputy mayor.
Seconded by me.
Next item,
Let the record show I seconded the item.
administration. I am the speaker here.
Then we must replay the session if that's the
It's
case.
seconded by all deputy mayor.
We are not going to be forced by you. If you don't remember what happened, we'll replay it.
Council,
You're the boss?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I worked, not force. Councillors, can we?
Ngiqalile ngoku nizosibhaqa nje apha. Nizawuphinda niye ulala ebhedini nobabini nisihlebe phaa kulaa bhedi hlawumbi.
Please move on to the next item.
Ngoku niyasibhanqa nje nobabini.
Item C/1/417/07/26. Report on irregular expenditure of prior years 2020, 2015, 2016, and 2023, 2024 from page 98.
Item 7, Deputy Executive Mayor.
Thank you, Speaker. On page 101, I just want clarity from MPEC because I see there's a 4.5 when it comes to under point number 4, the legal matters. I'm not gonna mention the whole thing, but 4.5 says that all the above matters be referred to the accounting officer to assess and determine whether due processes were followed, and if due process, it be referred back to MPEC. Then 4.6 says that should the accounting officer find that due process were not followed, it be referred to the disciplinary board as per Annexure C, Table 2. I just need clarity on what informed the decision. Thank you.
Chair.
Thank you, Speaker. Through you, Speaker, I would like just to give an overall to the item, and then I will answer direct the mayor regarding a question. So, Honourable Speaker, Executive Mayor, Councillors, Municipal Managers and members of present, the item before Council presents the recommendation of MPEC arising from its investigations into historical irregular expenditure occurred during 2015 and 2016 and 2023 and 24 financial years, amounting to 17,200,036 and 570 rand and 4 cents. So with MPEC's investigation, we went through all the specific items. Some of these items, specifically the legal matters, didn't have any supporting documentations to make an informative decision by MPEC. There was a responsible person identified, but we didn't have any evidence to point direct fingers or to make informative decision. For that reason, we decided collectively as MPEC committee to send it to make the recommendations of 4.5 for the accounting officer to make an assessment, because to check if all due processes was followed. You shall see each item is a different number. Some is for write-off, some is for disciplinary actions, and then some is just to be removed from the regular expenditure. And with that, if the mayor is happy with the explanation, I would say ask council to accept the recommendations as it is.
Executive Mayor.
Thank you, Speaker. I just need to understand, because if the accounting officer now finds that due processes were not followed, can the accounting officer refer the matters straight to the disciplinary board, or should matters not be referred from council to the disciplinary board? If you understand what I mean.
In terms of the terms of reference of the DC board, is council referred to disciplinary.
Executive Mayor.
Thank you, Speaker. That clarifies it. So I would recommend then, in terms of, because now there's a contradictory between 4.5 and 4.6. I would then propose to MPEC that The matters rather be referred to straight to the disciplinary board instead of to the acting MM and then from the acting MM to the disciplinary board. I would propose that amendment, please.
And Fair Chair and then Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Speaker. With that, I take note of that and I would then propose that we change the recommendation, we remove 4.5 and accept the recommendations as it is. Thank you.
And
In that, Madam Speaker, with all these items that are here, when I was the impact chair, there was a commonality of saying that items were done strictly from the office of MM or from the office of the mayor. But the account that was normally used would be the account of the lawyers, legal, whatever. Then hence the names would be there. At some stage, I remember calling these cases to our impact offices where at some stage things will be paid without even the people that are handling the votes to know about it, because it was legal issues that were initiated from the offices of the MM or from the offices of the mayor as the politician. So in that, I would love, after our MPEC has looked these things and everything, let it come back to us, council. Normally, it's supposed to be the council that says the issues must, after our MPEC deliberated on them, because you can see these issues were attended to, but it's only the documentary and the supporting things that were there. That reminds that some of them maybe might be the issues that when I was MPEC chair that I know about, that was the case that why we taken that decision. So I'm still asking, after it has been taken back, MPEC found that there's no supporting documents, how about it comes back to the council? Because MPEC cannot just refer things up to there without the council referring things to discipline. So how about we say in this instance, after MPEC have done its all due diligence, they bring the things out here, then we can recommend to take it to discipline.
Chairperson and then Councillor Manglaba and then Councillor Klapain.
Thank you, Speaker. Deputy, through you, Speaker, to Deputy, thank you for that comment. But please do, I just want to bring under attention of council. So what we did when we were busy with the investigations, each and every item where we didn't receive any supporting documentations, we did phone around. We spoke to the people that was in the institution then, and they also couldn't recall. But remember, irregular expenditure, these specific ones, because the supply chain process wasn't followed. That is what constitutes it as an irregular expenditure. Therefore, if you look at the items separately, so for the legal matters, 4.1 is 118,200. There's no invoices. We couldn't even exchange communication with Siatemba, Sokutu attorneys. And then even with all of these legal matters, and I think if we can, through you, Speaker, just get legal's opinion with it, because this was, and some of the, for instance, some of these items, there's an invoice, but no explanation why. And you cannot make the payment without following the due processes. And it's for that reason why we're sending it to the DC. We are compelled by AG to finish all of these historical issues. And that is why I would say without further delay, because we did refer these items back before. And we worked on 2 months with these specific items to source in evidence. And I actually said in the meeting, MPEC doesn't have all the resources. Therefore, we request that these items be sent to DC board. They have more expertise, they have more resources, and they would be able to resolve these issues. To you, Speaker, I would like to have the legal's opinion on the specific one. All the others is, I think we are happy with it. Thank you.
All right, before we give legal, Councillor Manglaba's hand was up, then Councillor Klapain, then will go to legal.
Thank you, Speaker. You know, Speaker, just dealing with this item in question for me, it was just mind blowing how even the plotting of the day, the dates of such irregulars, because there's ones dating back to 2015 and there's ones of 2024. I'm not sure how the item was actually crafted. But second question would be now, we know for a fact during the time Councillor Koloapi was actually MPEC chair, they were working overtime just to ensure that we deal with every historical irregular to date. To find that now there's actually again us going back, I'm not sure. That's why this for me, I'm very calculative in terms of what is it that I get to say when it comes to MPEC items without having to feel like I am talking down on what the MPEC team currently is doing. Because I know there's been clashes where I say lines to the like of, I feel somebody's painting a target on somebody else's back. I feel people are being used, or I feel the MPEC is not as independent as we would want it to be. But really, man, you look at these items for what they are, and you ask yourself, who's plotting what, where, like who's identifying which items must be dealt with and which ones actually must be overlooked? Because for me, I find it a bit disturbing that I'm looking at irregular items that detail to one official. I'm not sure whether is it a season where a focal point will be such an official, and then coming into the next season, then we'll identify either items that are for another official for me, because there's still irregulars I'm expecting to see coming back to council that were referred. What happened to Zutari? It's all these things for me now. I don't want to end up sounding like I'm political, but for what it is, it's a bit confusing. And then again, if according to the chair, we are removing 4.5 and we are keeping 4.6, then 4.6 does not have a base because 4.6 details exactly to 4.5.
Just 9.
And that's just that for me. And if according to the chair, there's been calls that were made to understand what was what, and directly linked officials could not provide or recall what transpired. Who's to say when the DC board seats, those questions will be answered? I'm caught between a rock and a hard place with this is concerned, and like I'm telling you, I'm trying by all means not to actually trample on anyone's toes, but this is really what I'm faced with whenever I look into such items for me. Because one would question again, how did the item come about? And that's just where I am at this point.
Thank you, Councillor Ngaba. Councillor Kapai, you give to legal.
You see, I'm starting to doubt MPEC, the workings now. I'm starting to doubt them. I think they are used, they are a tool of some sort. And for that matter, one question before I continue again to the MPEC chair. When you have a sitting, are you the only councillors there? Do you have a backing of legal directors, senior administration in that are from here in Bitou? Who is assisting you guys when you have a sitting as an MPEC committee? I'm directing that question, Chair, through the MPEC chair. Through you, speak.
Thank you. Before you answer, your answer will come after we get to legal. Councillor Xhaphay.
Speaker, I wanted legal to sum up because really this one, because I'm saying I'm going to follow up, got a follow up. I must follow up after I receive the answer from the chair.
Let she not answer now. You can put all your questions, then we go to legal. After that, I will.
So I must speak after legal again.
Yes. Legal,
Louis.
Mr. Kraus? Are you still there? Okay, councillors, Mr. Kraus is offline, he is coming back. So let us give MPET chair and then Deputy Mayor and Executive Mayor, hands was up. But before after Unansika, we are going back, after Councillor Vela, not Nansika, we are going back to Councillor Xhaphay because he was still on the floor.
Thank you, Speaker. Now, I would like to remind Council, our job is to be accountable and responsible and to protect public money. So we cannot sit here whenever a report comes and we are attached to people and then there must be 110,000 questions. We're not saying anybody is guilty of anything. The processes must be followed. And we have a responsibility as MPEC and as councillors to make sure it is.
Point of order, Speaker.
Councillor
She is not answering the question.
Sorry, Speaker.
She's not answering.
Order on what?
You're not answering the question.
Order on what?
To the impact.
What are you referring to?
No, Speaker, man. We must very serious, council. You must, when the question has been asked,
like to
answer the question.
Say pick up with the recommendations.
Jesus
For councillor's question.
Christ.
To council, we have the acting MA or the MA must and all directors is part of our meetings with legal. Thank you.
Fine. The answer is legal and the acting MM is part of the meeting. I think that
Follow up then, Speaker.
And you have only
the way the procedure is that MPEC brings all these items to council. After they have dealt with them, they bring them back to council before it goes to DC, because it's us as council who are going to deliberate and say, really, these matters deserve to go to the disciplinary board. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Executive Mayor, then Deputy Mayor.
Speaker, I'm not sure what the spirit of confusion is already here.
Oh, you've got a spirit of confusion in your mind. You are confused.
Councillor Xhaphay, let us behave.
MPEC is reporting to council. I simply at this present moment, so I don't understand why we are now saying MPEC must go back to MPEC and MPEC must report back to council again. MPEC, they are already reporting to council. The chairperson was clear, there was no supporting documentation. And there is clearly an indication that the legal process might not have been followed. That's why there's no supporting recommendation. They couldn't get any supporting documentation that a due supply chain process was followed. Hence, I say that instead of the recommendation 4.5, going back to the MPEC to check, the council already referred the matter to MPEC. MPEC is coming back to us. The chairperson explained there's no supporting recommendation. I then proposed, let us, instead of having 4.5 and 4.6, let council resolve that all of those must be referred to the disciplinary board for further investigation. And I was supported by Councillor Valenza after it. So there's no confusion here. The item was already referred from MPEC to council, and MPEC is reporting back. There's no paper trail, there's no evidence that a proper process was followed, and hence the recommendation must go to the disciplinary board. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. I'll give to the members of MPEC, Blanche and Councillor Swart.
It's not wrong what Councillor Papa is asking. We are frustrated. It's because when officials has been set out to come and address and assist us, they are nowhere to be found. They are giving us the runaround, then we must use our airtime. They are absent in numerous meetings. And then we sit ourselves there. And then the chairperson must phone here, Councillor Swart must phone there. They are, some of the officials that must attend are absent. When we come to an actual MPEC meeting, you would find the directors. Then it so happens that because of the planning stage, there was no one addressing us. We must now come to this session of MPEC and the directors. They then give their version. Hence, we say it's frustrating. We are looking into matters, and when it comes to these kind of recommendations, it is because it comes from the MPEC session where directors sit. But with the planning leading up to the meeting, there's always missing officials.
So the MPEC chair misled council.
Councillor,
You are misleading us.
I didn't give you. Councillor Swart.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I want to propose or second the amended resolution by the chair for that we remove 4.5 and go with 4.6. I'll second the proposal.
The item has been proposed and the item has been closed. Thank you, councillors. We are moving now to the next.
Misled this
No, but
council.
Speaker, if we just close the item without having to have rectified 4.6, that recommendation is actually wrong.
It has been rectified by the amendment.
Can they read it?
And the
I'll prove it that it's not.
administration, can you please read the amendment for us on record?
The resolution 4.5 and 4.6 as reflected under the comment, on the screen, we refer to the disciplinary board. Please, just.
Director?
Sorry, Madam Speaker, I just need, Mrs. Jansen just came in, so what was resolved by council was to say take out recommendation 4.5. So 4.1 to 4.4 are standing in the recommendation, and it was asked take out 4.5, so 4.6 is becoming 4.5, and it says that should the accounting officer find that due processes were not followed, it be referred to the disciplinary.
My point is that reads wrong.
And the mayor? Can I give to you because you amended that?
Thank you, Speaker. I did say when I was doing the proposal that in terms of the terms of reference, council refers to the disciplinary board. Yeah.
Administration, did you get it right now? Can you read it again?
That all the above matters be referred to the disciplinary board as per Annexure C Table 2.
So the importance of why is it that we sit here together, Speaker? We get to assist each other in terms of these recommendations, so that when we revisit them, they make sense. We don't close items because we are tired of listening.
Okay. The item has been proposed and been amended so we are moving to next item.
Yes, Speaker, can I?
As this one is closed. Can we please move to the next item?
Item it's C/1/418/07/26. Propose microstructural adjustment across directorates to enhance operational efficiency from page 114.
Item is 7. Councillor Annelies and then Councillor Ompio.
I propose that we go with the recommendation, Speaker.
Councillor Ompio.
I'll second that, Madam Speaker.
Madam Mayor?
Oh, thank you, Madam Speaker. No, I just thought, Madam Speaker, it's important that you give an overview of council in terms of changes to that structure.
Yeah, it could be helpful.
Acting MM, to you.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm at page 114. And I would like to start with the first one, that is the reinstatement of community liaison officer function. The portfolio committees raised this matter that there's a lack of interaction in terms of service delivery matters within the community. It means that, or what I've heard in the past, we had CLOs, community liaison officers in place. I understand the model where you need to have government in this case, the administration as close as possible to the community. If you look at outlying areas like your Kirland, Ward 1, your Green Valley part of Ward 1, your Kranzoek part of Ward 1, even Panokatula, other side of the N2, where people have to either make use of public transport and have expenditure to get to the administration, it may be difficult. So we want to move people closer, and it has been like that in the past. So 7 of these community liaison officers will now be working with the local communities. Just in Ward 1, there will be 2. I referred to Kirland and I've referred to Green Valley or town, the neighborhood, Plettenberg. Then there is in Ward 2, because the main office is located in Ward 2, the community has easy access to this office. Ward 3 is a community liaison officer. Ward 4, Ward 5, and 6. So if you look at the 7, if you look at the 7, it excludes Ward 2. At this point in time, it's also important to note they will be in the communities, although they are working from there. We've already looked at job descriptions, the functions to ensure we promote service delivery and interaction with the community. I've directly worked with the manager to gather the information. Myself and the acting director corporate discussed the matters with him. And the officials, must I say, in their absence in this meeting, bought into it as well. Tools of trade is the next thing that's important in rolling out. And yes, ward councillors, current and future ward councillors, must be assured that these officials must work closely with them to ensure that matters of the ward is filtered into the administration. I'm even looking, and I had meetings with ICT to make sure that officials are equipped with a dashboard of information. If we look at our financial information, they should have viewing rights to assist people. If we look at bookings, if we look at the challenges that we have with burials, all those methods of assistance should be at hand and also part of our administrative network, so it's properly institutionalized. The next one, we unfortunately also have, parallel to this process, people that are still sitting in a pool, in a historic pool, that emanates from the redesign of Bitou's organizational structure. So if we look at 1.2, the reporting lines for IDP and public participation division, you will see that there is seniors although it's not a post, but it's a function. We are not creating new posts. We are not asking council for any additional funding. The colleagues is not transferred to another directorate. It remains the office of the municipal manager reporting to the manager responsible for the IDP, where they are currently located. 1.3, we had deliberation about MPEC, and I attended MPEC meetings before, and I realized what the problem is, and I've assured the MPEC that we will look into this matter of them not running around and doing investigations. So what happened now is that the MPEC administrator is brought in the office of the municipal manager and not with HR. That is point number 3. If you look at the office of the chief risk officer, her post was advertised. We could not find a suitably qualified candidate, so it will be re-advertised again. We've gone through the process. But if you look at that department, they are responsible for risk management and compliance. You would find the officer, the risk officer responsible for risk and compliance, and the MPEC administrator responsible for compliance. So we're trying to build capacity in that office to ensure that if that administrator is not getting the necessary support, the accounting officer must be in a position to instruct. And my assurance through MPEC was very straightforward, very simplified, to say that at the end of the day, at MPEC level, there should be full information, and actually must be full information to the matter under discussion, so that that information can move through the process to council and eventually to DC board. It should already inform all the processes going forward and not the struggle, because that's where you have the time lapse moving forward and backward. So must I then say that is the rationale behind moving that person to that office? The corporate director, acting corporate director, is also supporting that. We had a discussion about it. And also, I raised the matter with MPEC, and here is the recommendation on the table before council. If we can go to the next one, consolidation of municipal building maintenance function. The problem that I found as an appointed director of this municipality is that a portion of the asset register and building maintenance were located in 2 directorates, community services and development and planning. And officials, councillors found it very difficult to contact the direct people or officials to understand who's doing what because of this split. I don't know what is the historic reason, but the rationale is that we now locate the properties with all properties with planning and development, where you find town planning, where you find strategic long-term planning in terms of land and property, building control, all of those departments that's clustered into that directorate has a involvement, even environmental, into property of council. All building maintenance aspects will now, then it's recommended to move to community services with the officials and the budget. It means that community services will take care of not only the housing matters, but also the administrative buildings, the entire maintenance of council's properties. That is the next proposal. I, as a director, then started the process. This was a discussion that started in APEC. At APEC level, I made a recommendation as a director, and the process then followed through with the then acting municipal manager, Mr. Mapai, who supported it. I worked with the officials at HR in terms of labor relations, so that we could have a session with the staff members, so they are fully informed, and they had the opportunity to even bring the union representatives into the picture. If we go to the next one, is the reinstatement of operational posts. That's your learner firefighters. Now it is a reinstatement in terms of people that are in the pool. You have 4 shifts, there's 4 learner firefighters. Each shift will now get additional capacity in terms of firefighting capability of Bitou municipality. Community development workers, the term CDWs, community development workers, emanates from a national program of government, and suffice to say that we don't want to confuse terminology. Therefore, the post designations will be changed to public participation clerks. As I understand it, there's one community development officer, and these officers are reporting and are officers and officials of province, not of the municipality. So that officials will now be placed with this recommendation, if considered by council, in the public participation unit as public participation clerks, and not have that maybe confusion outside that they are deemed to be seen as community development workers or CDWs. Then the general assistant libraries. We are working through this library posts because it's grant funding as well, but this is not on the table. This is a post that is also required for the cleaning purposes of libraries, and that is we only ask for the reinstatement of the post. It's nothing new, and some of the other aspects, there's more aspects, and if we don't want to touch on macro is future council. If council is mindful that for operational purpose, that they give due consideration to the recommendations that is made in this report. Thank you.
Councillor Mangaba, then Councillor Tapai.
I've raised my hand as well as speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Mhlana. After Councillor Tapai.
Thank you, Speaker, and we welcome the detailed explanation from the accounting officer. Speaker, I would request and plead with the accounting officer and relevant officials that now that we are actually reinstating the role of CLOs in the org structure, and how he's explained the function, because it's important to actually get that right, so that we actually draw the services, we take services to the people. May it not be an inherent assumption that because you were a CLO before, you know what your JD is. They must be taken through proper channels in terms of reintroducing them to their roles and what they stand for. Because if that is not clear, we will be met with resistance again, where we find that as councillors now, we run around doing work that is actually not supposed to be done by us, based on the fact that CLOs are so used to doing the minimal mundane work they were doing in the offices. And this will help our communities a great deal, that they will not be diverted to the bigger buildings now. All of what we are able to access at the main building, they'll be able to access in their respective wards and communities, which is what we've been crying for all this time. Second to that, the issue of CDWs becoming public participation clerks. Can that too be made clear that we are taking preference the previous CDWs for those positions in terms of reinstatement? The rest be taken through recruitment and selection. Because part of our placement policy is that it should not promote, demote, or be punitive to any employee. Now, we must not now let officials or let politicians assume that because we are now filtering placement into this arrangement, that they can easily sneak their people in offices without having to have gone through proper recruitment and selection. But if then we fail at addressing that, we'll be faced with labor disputes later on, and the next thing we know, we lose so much money at arbitration, whereas these things could have easily been avoided if these steps would have been followed for what they really are. Now, with that being said, I do support entirely the recommendations, for long as there's a clear understanding that reinstatement speaks to the previous incumbents. Whoever else is coming in must come through the proper recruitment and selection processes. Thank you.
Councillor Mangaba, Councillor Kabaye.
Thank you. Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, before I ask these questions, I'm going to delve only first on the CLOs. Acting MM, the redesigning of the organizational structure earlier was very stupid in removing the CLOs. But here we know how the DA operates, because that part of CLOs are the ones that support communities. They were removed, and the communities were confused, and there was no service delivered, you see. Now, in order to curb this nonsensical undertaking, are we then able, even if there is another administration, to craft a policy that is saying these are CLOs, they can never be touched, but must be supported, because the removal of these people, it opened a gap, and it was a gap to be seen by communities. So I'm excited that you are bringing them back, because CLOs anyway, if we can put it, they are a vital organ to service deliver. So another one, to you, Speaker, to the acting MM. I'm hearing you talking about the transferring of building maintenance and property management. Were there consultations, because we are dealing with employees or workers, were there consultations and proper understanding, explanation, as much as you are unpacking it to us now? Were those things done to the employees? That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Tsapai. Councillor Mhlana.
Yes, thank you, Speaker. No, I think mine is very straightforward. One, I want to know the process plan. Are we going now, is the council going to declare the positions that those previous incumbents, which were CLOs and CDWs, are occupying currently as a redundant? That's what I want to know. Because remember now, if you are moving those people from where they are to these positions, it means we are going to be left with those vacancies as well. And what is the process plan of removing them from those positions to these positions? And if we are not going to do that, as a person that sits on the objection committee, have we looked at the skill set of those that are remaining now on the pool? Or are we going now to do a new process of recruiting these new people? So I just want to get clarity on that, Speak. Thanks.
Thank you very much, councillors. I'm giving back to you, Acting MM. As there were questions from Councillor Kapai and Councillor Mhlana or Councillor Mangabayana, it was just a comments about the whole sale of.
Yes, Speaker, through you, the first matter about a policy or directive to ensure it's very difficult because it is the responsibility and prerogative of council. The municipal manager is responsible for the org structure, but council gives strategic direction. But what I've said earlier is, and it will come back to what Councillor Mhlana is asking. I've earlier said that we have already looked at the job descriptions. The fortunate part here that councillors don't know is I was responsible for decentralized administration of another municipality where we had even managers running decentralized administration, keeping services close to the community. So I assisted my colleagues to get the information in terms of the job descriptions, the functions, and to make sure that moving forward, we have the posts re-evaluated to perform the specific duties to promote service delivery, although not decentralized administration, but decentralized in the ward or administration within the ward. Now coming to Councillor Mhlana, the latter part of Councillor Mhlana, Councillor, these officials were deployed in your wards, but like it was mentioned here, there were no clear definition or clear clarification as to their roles. During the disaster, I was fortunate to ask the acting MM to say, I'm the head of disaster now. These people are here, I don't see them. Can I activate them to be involved in their local communities? And they work till 10 o'clock at night to assist people. They gather data for disaster management. At the end of the day, I even said to disaster management, you make sure that all these names of these officials are recorded so that we properly record their overtime. And they were all activated up to current. So I'm saying it is a matter of no new posts are created. The current positions are now being redefined with clear functions, clear job description content. And so there will be a process here, and it will come back to what Councillor Mangabe said. We will have to make sure that nobody else outside of this process can come and say, but I'm unfairly treated, or I'm not being given an opportunity. And that question is very simple because nobody from the outside is brought in. They still with Mr. Henge, they still there. Their roles and responsibilities will now be clearly defined through the job descriptions and with the necessary tools of trade and capacity going forward. Then the other question was consultation. I specifically referred to building maintenance and property administration, where I was directly part of a meeting as the director responsible for community service at the time. After consultation with the municipal manager, We agreed to follow a process. So I sat with the officials. I sat with in that meeting where the acting director also representing planning and development. So we sat with them. We even allowed them to have their union representatives present. So they were fully informed. They had their views. We worked through it. So the consultation process with them happened just for the coming back to the councillor's question. Thank you.
Sorry to speak. Was it
formally recorded, formal process?
And everything was they were happy on their side, and there was an agreement.
Can I answer that as well? Through you, Speaker. Councillor, in these discussions, you would find that people see opportunity for trade-off or opportunity for increase in remuneration. Somebody said, but can I, for an example, I'm not going to mention names, but for the benefit of the council, but can I not get additional funding or remuneration? It's very simple. My response was, we're going to do the same job with a different reporting line. The job is not changing. The second thing, when you are doing this job going forward, and we find out that there's additional work to be done in terms of the maintenance portfolio, you will be afforded the opportunity for a reevaluation of your job description. So that was put on the table, but as the acting accounting officer, municipal manager, sitting here, I'm not going to negotiate with people beforehand. We have to go through due process. And that's what I want to say at this point in time.
Speaker?
Councillor Mhlana?
Through you, I think the response of the acting municipal manager to my question is ambiguous, because not all these previous incumbents are in one section. Some are at human settlement. Some were deployed elsewhere in other departments. So you must not answer as if all of them, the CDWs, are in one section. The previous CLOs are also in one section. Some of those people were scattered in different departments. Now, my question is, how are those people going to be moved from where they are to these reinstated positions? Whether those positions now are changed in terms of title or not. But the question still stands, how are they going to be removed if the council is not going to declare those positions where they are occupying redundant? And I think the other thing, Speaker, that we must really do away with is that we are seen as playing with people. I'm not sure, because I don't sit in the local labor forum, but I would be concerned that the unions would allow these things that are happening. People are sent from one section to another, from the other section to another, without considering the fact that these might have an impact on those particular employees in the long run. So I'm just concerned, Speaker, because there is no clear process plan on reinstatement. And I can safely say here, because everything in politics is done for a reason. Whoever that demolished those positions had a plan. And now bringing back those positions, we might be told, the future councillors might be told that those people are refusing to move because they have a right. Remember, these people have a right. They might refuse to go back to those positions for a reason or another. and those positions will be forced to advertise them and get new people, as Councillor Mangaba was saying. So I just want to raise that, Speaker. Thank you, my Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Sana. Can we give now Director Corporate?
Councillors, I just want to bring to your attention to the minutes on page 127. There was just an error on that structure. It's flagged before us. It should the subsection for logistics and public participation should be reading public participation and then 6 times public participation clerks. It's captured like that in the resolution. So I just wanted to fix that so that it reflects correctly on the organogram.
All right, thank you. Then Acting
Speaker,
MM.
yes, from my side, I think I want to make sure that myself and the councillor that inquires on process plan and the positions of the officials are clear. The historic context, Speaker, if you allow me to, can I ask the acting director just to give the confirmation of the historic context? Acting director, through the Speaker.
Director.
If we go to, I think the visual picture will give a better presentation. If we go to Annexure A and flight between Annexure A and B. Now, what we can see on the structure is, to answer Councillor Manaba, also to you, Speaker, you have to follow a section 66 of the Systems Act compels the draft organizational structure. You can't promise that you won't follow a certain process of ring fencing for certain people to remain in positions due to the fact that council sets the council sets the scene of how we want directorates as well, the macro structure as well as the micro structure. Now, in this instances, if we look at Annexure A, there was officials or positions, designations that was declared redundant. And in terms of Section 189 of the Regulations Act, as well as your placement policy, when those positions becomes redundant, people go through the placement process and they get into a pool. We call it a pool. Also, to satisfy council, what should administratively happen in terms of your placement policy? You can't promote or demote a person. You have to have a horizontal placement process, not to make a person better or worse off. And when you look at placing people, you need to look at the skill set of the particular person. There is a skill set that you need to look in terms of the regulations that sets out what process you need to follow in terms of placing the person, and that is aligned to the placement policy as well. So in this instances, the officials, some of them remained in the pool. And some of those positions were declared redundant. I think it was the community development officer positions, and some of them were reverted or were converted to public participation officer positions. Now, in the placement process, you cannot preempt or beforehand also discuss with particular officials. When it comes to the placement process, and we go through the process, you need to look at who is in the pool, and then from there onwards start with your placement process, and that is where your consultation process starts. So in this instance, these positions were declared redundant, and it's been brought back onto the structure. As the MMS rightly said, the CLO positions were declared redundant. The CDW positions were converted to public participation positions. So this is what happened in that particular instances. If I have answered your questions or your concerns, Councillor Clan.
Councillor Sana, that was
Speaker,
an answer to your question.
Speaker, let me correct. There was no conversion of any position. All positions were declared redundant. Hence, we had people that were on the pool. So let's remove this wording, conversion. No position was converted. People were on the pool, and from the pool were placed into those particular positions based on the skill set and what the policy is saying. But what I'm saying is, I'm still asking now, what will be the process plan of removing these officials that have accepted officially accepted the placement into these reinstated positions. We agree here, we agree as councillors that we need these offices. But the process plan, we should be taken into confidence on the process plan. How are those positions going to be filled? Because you cannot tell me the director and the acting municipal manager cannot say we're going to go and look again who's on the pool. Because they are contradicting each other now when the acting municipal manager and the director say you can't in front go and talk to employees about the placement. Because to me, when you are reinstating these positions, it says Audrey will come back, Mike Trainer will come back, so-and-so will come back as CLOs. That's what it says to me. But I understand that these officials were placed elsewhere. How are we going to move them? And what is going to happen with those positions? Or are we converting those positions now? Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Mangaba.
If I may ask, Speaker, I think there's a greater disconnect between my colleague and what the officials are actually speaking of. And there's nothing wrong with what Councillor Mhlanga is saying. What he's saying is we somewhat are in unison where recommendations are concerned. However, the recommendations on their own are creating additional work. Because if we then remove the CLOs, because the item in itself is not a placement item. It is an adjustment in the org structure. Now that adjustment, in as much as in theory it may sound as though it's a direct movement, it creates jobs. Now, what he is saying now is, when we bring about the reinstatement, meaning we are moving people from where they were to where they previously were. Where they are now, those jobs are not, those positions are not for CLOs or CDWs because they were scattered all over the place. Now, I think a clear recommendation that would save us is saying, immediately once the reinstatement is done, the positions that they are holding currently will be abolished. That's essentially what Mr. Mhlanga is actually alluding to. And that's a conversation that's not coming from the official side.
Yes, Councillor, that's why I've asked for the historic context. Maybe that's my disjunction, the historic context. Now, I said I work with these people. I find the official in Kirland, without mentioning, there's another one in Wittegriff. They are there. Now, I trying to get the historic context from my colleague to say, these people are still hanging in the air, they're in the pool. They're not placed at other departments. The dilemma that was caused and raised by the councillors was not resolved. So, coming to the process going forward is that those people that I refer to, they are the former CLOs. It's the same people, same individuals, referring to the former CLOs. They will be afforded the opportunity first to be placed in this reinstated positions out of the pool where they are floating.
That is really understood. That is understood. But I think what the accounting officer is missing here is that in as much as when we were dealing with disasters, they were found assisting, which is doing their previous roles. We are done with placement. No one is in the pool. Yes, people may have objected. However, they are placed. Now, I think an easy way of going about dealing with this is ensuring that the previous incumbents must probably be brought in one space so that they can confirm what sort of placement letters were they given. That will give you an idea or an indication where they are placed, because they are not in the pool. The reason why we opened a space for objections, it is based on the fact that everyone is placed. So I think administratively what must be done now is ensuring that to do those checks and balances, all the affected parties must bring their placement letters so that we then understand where are they placed, so that those specific positions be what is brought with the report once the reinstatement is done, to say the reinstatement has opened these roles and we agree in principle that these are abolished as of when the sign-off is done. It so saves us from seeing people waltzing in our building to find that they are appointed and we know nothing about it, because people took the opportunity when they saw that there were available positions to sneak in their people.
Councillor Nel.
Speaker, sorry, Speaker.
Those officials sorry, Councillor, can you please hold on? It's Councillor Nel now who's on the floor. I'll come back to you.
Hello, Speaker, just through you, I'd just like to request the acting MM to indicate there was a person found in Green Valley, according to what you said. Who was that person?
It's a lady, what's her first name? Anushka.
Anushka. Okay. And then she is actually a fully qualified, let me call them CLO. Thank you. That's all I wanted to find out. Thank you, Speaker.
We wanted to inquire about Anushka.
No, Speaker, I just wanted to give clarity. All those CLOs were placed and those CDWs were placed and they've accepted their placements. And I think there was one CDW from Kranzuk who did not accept the placement for the reasons that he is old, he's 2 years, he cannot accept to be placed on administration. So all those people have been placed. I sit with Councillor Ned on the objection committee.
If there's no objections, the place.
But ideally, the process is you are allowed to object. However, you need to report where you are placed while objecting. That's why I maintain the reason why there's an objection stage now is that placement is done. Now, what's left is for officials to ensure that when these people are reinstated, they bring their placement letters so that we identify these roles that they were placed in and we abolish those roles. I think that's a straightforward approach to this.
This
is too deep.
You see, Speaker, the chaos that you are in here now was created by the DA because they don't have a policy of dealing with the people on the ground. That is why they removed CLO. That is why they removed CWs, because they don't have that in their heart. They don't care for community. We are in this quagmire now, acting municipal manager, where we must rectify the mistakes that they have done. Because now they are coming home to roost now. Because they were told from the onset that you can't remove these people. These people are people that are service delivery related. We are in this quagmire now. I believe that through you, Speaker, what is going to happen, there must be a consultation. Also, what councillors must be involved in terms of reporting. How are you then going to deal with the matter? Because we are going to take 5 minutes now, or 20 minutes, or 3 hours dealing with this matter. You see, you can see the DA councillors are yawning now. They are tired. What I'm proposing is that there must be a concerted effort between administration unions, and please, ward councillors must be reported to whatever process that you are doing. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Babai. DM, and then we'll give all.
Baleke cracks when abantu base-cracks abakwazi.
That we can close now.
Let down.
6 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think now what I could allude and
I've gotten a CLO work rate.
I said what I can agree on and also allude on and commending. Thank you that ultimately the loud outcry that we were having as councillors has been considered. Even if how is it going to be done so that it satisfied all of us, especially what councillors, I think that needs also to come here.
What council?
I speak.
Okay.
Yeah, we was councillor, including you, because Monsignor
Saying whatever
interfere.
see what councillors, because definitely they are dealing with the indigents and everything else. Then at least that's when, even if flats, it showed it openly that really ECLO thing is and the CDW things was a mistake in our structure that us all we adopted here till we started to see the problem. So I'm still, even myself, I've got questions. How are we going to do? We are going back to those CLOs to take them back. If they don't want to be taken back, they're enjoying to be in the offices. What then? So I think it plan in the structure of everything else. Let it again come to us and be comfortable. But the main thing is that I'm happy that it is a cry that we sought in fit that we need to go back to. Whereas I know anything else that will be done will be avoiding to do anything that is out of budget, that takes out and this. But we always say legislatively, the people who served in the place, they need, when anything else needs to be done, we need to and consult back them, the ones that they were there prior. So I know it might sound as easy because we want it, but at some stage, if people were placed in places that they feel they are more comfortable and more working, they work less in a less stress situation, we might find ourselves with people that say, I don't want to go back, I'm fine wherever I am. But I think we need to get that whole thing of a feedback and how to implement it. But thank you for the cry that has been listened.
Thank you, councillors. We are closing now this report with a message for the corporate acting director in the MM. There must be a proper consultation with those that are like we are saying, maybe they are already comfortable where they are. So it must just
Thank you
very much.
Speaker, a special note, while we are actually progressing or moving right along, then the accounting officer must have his thumb on the pulse of this process, because this process may create vacant positions without him knowing. And this affects our budget.
For the point of order, Speaker, I'm being irritated from Councillor Kappa, saying that I may sell out and
Can you please separate each other? It's just 2 months to go. Then we part our ways. Councillors, just 2 months to go, then we part our ways.
Really, it does.
Faces you see here and you'll never see it again after 5 November.
Really, it does affect our budget.
Madam Speaker, while people are just talking like it's their lounge, that we're having a chatting and shouting at one another across the Speaker, there's no decorum. Let me say, I'm glad to see that the 1st of November is coming. We'll see what happens.
They say that you are not having suits at
I know, you can't be angry, I don't understand.
At least Freedom Front is here. Freedom Front is here.
Councillors, on the floor so that we can conclude now this item because it has been already proposed and been seconded. Just a minute to finish.
Speaker, I'm stating this because
Just chatting again. Someone like that.
Msuba lungi sana bambaye silo messy up.
Councillors, the item has been proposed and been seconded. Councillors, as we are now finishing with the section of the municipal manager, there was in the first item, there was an appointment of the acting municipal manager, and the councillors extended the contract of Mr. Williams. So I've asked the corporate director to prepare for us another item to appoint the acting director in that section, because it was going as acting MM and then acting director. So the item is ready. Can Mr. Sakati please excuse us, because currently it is him who's acting in that position.
Yes, you didn't. You didn't. It was supposed to be on the agenda.
We didn't know, Kaloku, Bana, are we taking someone else?
You should have done that.
Kaloku, I sense I can.
Here's a backup plan anyway.
Kaloku, this was
Yeah.
obvious. It was not an obvious.
Benyas, Benyas.
We didn't know. Plus, administration, can you please take Gima Councillor Mangap, it's our my colleague, if Fletcher, then stated. Can you please take us through the item? Director in community services.
Kokasin, Waisa, Vumelani too.
Order, Speaker.
You don't agree as your caucus.
Don't go.
It's a council.
On appointment. But like it says, if it was Kamsat now.
Speaker, on a point of order.
Councillors, administration, can you please fix for us the item?
Item C/1/419/07/26, appointment of acting director community services with effect from 19 August 2026 to 12 November 2026, or until the disciplinary matter of the current municipal manager, M. Memani, is finalized, whichever occurs first, from page 1.
Item is 7.
Speaker,
Before I get into
on a point of order, Speaker.
Councillor Mhlana.
Speaker, I know even in Ndumbeni there is rules as Ndumbeni. We have rules of order here on how items should be introduced. We can't do this thing, Speaker, and how this has been introduced now, it's really out of order, the way this item has been introduced. I'm not fighting with the item, but I'm fighting with the how we are introducing how you are introducing this item as a speaker.
Okay,
and you know that there are rules of order, and those rules, we need to adhere to those rules, and yourself as a custodian of those rules.
Noted, Councillor Mhlana. Councillor Mangaba.
Speaker, just to concur with Councillor Mhlana, point 7 does say you may at any time introduce an item provided majority of a council agrees. So I understand that you've been voting for the longest of time, being comfortable running the show. However, the rules does stipulate that you introduce it, the majority vote that we table it, then we table it.
Thank you, councillors. Councillors, can we vote for the council for the item to be introduced? Those who say we must introduce the item, can we all please raise our hands?
I listen to it again.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Much. The majority of the
Things like that.
Enoch.
The DA.
Hi, Enoch.
Yes, yes. Organization.
It's reading there.
Focus on your parts.
And as far as cannot
Record, can I deliberate on the item?
You ran away from Ward 1, staying in town.
It's not your
Your
problem.
people need you there.
It's not where you are.
Your people need you there.
Council Chairman.
It's only you.
Just check.
You
Councillor,
must go and tell
Yes,
people your
to be tabled in this council meeting. The item is 7, appointment of acting director, community services. Councillor Mangaba.
Speaker, before I get into that, would I sincerely ask, out of respect, that acting director, public safety, recuse or excuse us for a second.
Councillor, you, acting director.
So what the line
I missed it.
Inside the.
Crossing another. Thank you, Speaker, and thank you, councillors, for actually allowing me that plea. Because I understand you've had your own caucus. Perhaps there's a preferred candidate as per the item and people's qualifications. Speaker, it's mature and human to agree when we have erred. And I think previously, when we decided on letting the communications manager be an acting director, public safety, we overlooked the urgency and the policing aspect of that department. And I remember on the day in question where we actually agreed on that, Councillor Bill Neal really did cite the importance of having somebody with a stronger background of policing. Now an opening is allowed for us to actually apply our minds really, to ask ourselves if Mr. Namdu and Mr. Sakati aren't misplaced. Now, these are both actings. We know how Mr. Namdu's strongest points are in the administration and in the communication and in just working alongside with communities. And we know Mr. Sakati's illustrious profile around policy. Now, for the sake of decisions that require urgency, decisions that require policing is concerned, I would ask that as council we reconsider doing a swap, that Mr. Namdu be an acting director community services, then Mr. Andile Sakati becomes the acting director public safety on those reasons.
Councillor Tablanche.
Let us first debate, because that is something fresh to the floor. We can debate, because I wanted to nominate, but there's something on the floor. If maybe perhaps other councillors want to look into it. If it's possible, let's look into it first.
Councillors, there's a proposal from Councillor Mangaba and Councillor Executive Mayor and Councillor Mpio.
Madam, thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the problem that we are facing is qualifications. So I think what we need to do, I hear what the councillors are proposing, but we need to understand who qualifies for these positions before we have to start bodies that we're going to do. All the people that are being proposed, do they qualify?
Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I see the printout in front of us. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4 persons listed, and then 2 that according to this report qualities meet the requirements.
That's the point.
Speaker, mine is different. My proposal is different. My proposal is for us to continue the current arrangement with Mr. Sakati, and that we follow the same process that I have proposed for the acting and that we apply to the ministry to extend it for further 3 months for the sake of continuity. I hear what Councillor Mangaba has said, but in my experience, I've seen over this time that they actually do work very well together. even when it came to the current issues that we had recently, they work well together, and also Mr. Namtu does have the ability to engage with communities at ground level. So I'm comfortable with the arrangement as it is, and that's my proposal to council. Thank you.
I'll second that, Madam Speaker.
Councillor Blanche.
So is it perhaps that Mr. Namtu is now acting in the other position that he's been excluded on this table?
Yes.
Or is it that he doesn't meet the necessary? That's why he's been excluded from this table.
Yes, Speaker, through you, Councillor, it is because Mr. Namtu is a manager in the Directorate Public Safety. This is the Directorate Community Services. The officials, the managers listed here is the managers reporting to the Director Community Services. And it's also a macro organizational structure situation where communication is located in public safety. That is something that should be considered in future, as reconsidered by council in future as well. May I respond to the question, please, Speaker? Yes.
Yeah, Baba, go take it.
Speaker, my view as the acting municipal manager at this point in time is that is a vacant position, a position not impacted on any suspension whatsoever. We have developed draft job descriptions. We had official from the province coming to Bitou municipality. Myself, the acting director, I had discussions with this person so that we can find a way to have these JDs of directors in terms of the latest regulation evaluated so that we can, rather than advertise the position and get the right person to fill that position in terms of the contract conditions.
Councillor Akabai.
Thank you, Speaker. I like the debate, Speaker, but I'm worried now that the public is listening to us and what is on the board is totally different. You see, solely what we were supposed to do is to zoom in to the acting in this directorate and nothing else. Well, if we wanted to discuss further, would have allowed us to have a break and discuss it sideways. Unfortunately now, we are even confusing the public because they are looking at what is on the board or on the screen. So really, I will also go with the recommendations that a council, sorry, Mr. Sakati, I think he's going to be a councillor in future. Mr. Sakati is the director for community service. Thank you.
Thank you. As the item has been proposed by the executive mayor and seconded by Wompin. Moving now to the next section.
Section 2, item C/2/368/07/26. Report on the implementation of supply chain management policy for the fourth quarter, 1st April to 30 June 2026 from page 132.
Item is 7, Wompin.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I propose that we note the item.
Councillor Fair.
I vote the recommendation of the executive mayor. Supported.
Next item.
22/369/07/26. List of withdrawals from the municipal bank account for the quarter ended 30 June 2026 from page 167.
Item is serving on bill.
Madam Speaker, I propose that we note the item as a standard report, monthly report.
Councillor Rufia.
Second.
Next report.
3/2/370/07/26. Cost containment report for the quarter ending 30 June 2026 from page 172.
Item is serving on bill.
Madam Speaker, unless there is something that somebody from finance or the acting MM would like to say, I propose we note the.
Councillor Rufia.
Okay.
Next item.
3/2/371/07/26. Environment report for the fourth quarter ended 30 June 2026 from page 175.
Item is serving on bill.
Madam Speaker, although environments are not particularly popular with most of us, I propose that we note the report.
Councillor Rufia.
Second.
Next item.
3/2/372/07/26. Section 52D report for the quarter ending June 2026 from page 177.
Item is serving. Executive Mayor.
Thank you, Speaker. Just from my side, I think we are aware that this section 52D reflects the performance financially, as well as in terms of our SBIP, our KPIs, as at the end of the 30th of June 2026. It's the end of the financial year. So it brings the two together. So from this report, we can see that our revenue collection is a slight improvement, but they still need to work on that. And then also it's very concerning in terms of if you look at under expenditure on operational as well as capital, our capital expenditure. Speaker, also there's also instances where in terms of the SDPIP, some of the performance targets were not met by the directorates. Now we know that those performance targets or those KPIs did inform in terms of the evaluation when council did the performance assessments. So that is why some of the directors might not have qualified a performance bonus. But now the thing is now that we need to move forward from this, because if you look at the trends for the last 3 financial years, last year we had on our CapEx, for instance, a 90% achievement. This year it's 81%. The year before then it was also 81%. So we seem to not move forward in terms of that particular issue under expenditure. But I am aware, the SDPIP, the new one for the new financial year, the KPIs have been revised, was submitted to my office. There were consultants with the consultation with the directors, and I can assure council that especially when it comes to the expenditure, the capital budget, and some other issues such as fleet and so forth, we have included proposals for new KPIs to be set for the new financial year. But in terms of council, is for the administration to implement. So it's just basically the same that we have seen throughout the financial year. That's from my side. Speaker, I propose that council notes the report.
On bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I support. I second.
Councillor DM.
Yes, as much that is supported, I'll be supporting myself. I'm not against, but I wanted just to bring the council into the attention of the operational cost. That says a negative YTT budget variance of 30% is recorded. With our operations, that's where we're meeting our service delivery people, the poorest every day. That's where we do the things that are reported every day. It's not a long plan thing. So if we've got a negative YTT budget variance, for me, it gives some worries unless I can be made into comfort to it. And also things are reporting things and they take so long to be done operationally. The houses that were affected by floods, the roads that were affected by floods, All those things, I believe they fall under the operational cost. And that goes even with the SCM things and whatever. So it's just that if there's a way we can be taken into comfortability, why there's that negative YTT, I'll be okay.
The item has been closed.
Item number, next item.
Thank you, Auntie. Thank you. Supporting.
We take them into consideration.
Next item.
Item-
The executive, J, why? Yes,
That's the big one, that's what it-
Leo Bufun explain now.
Administration, can you please read for us the item on board?
Still on section 2 on addendum, item C stroke 373 stroke 07 stroke 26. Fifth adjustment budget of the 2025-2026 medium-term revenue and expenditure framework from page 1.
Executive Mayor.
Thank you, Speaker. This one is also for me. I'm going to ask the acting amendment that we allow Christopher to take council into confidence about the specific item. It is another unforeseen, unavoidable in terms of the regulations. It needed to be reported to council within 30 days. It is in relation to a new substation, I think in the Whale area that has to be replaced. It was an emergency. And therefore, in terms of service to the communities and making sure that we get people back on the ground as soon as possible, decisions had to be made. But I think, we will explain to council exactly what transpired and also from which vote numbers the monies were moved. Thank you.
Which Christopher, Mape or Pale?
The one that was for the button. Council.
Mape.
It is just not 30 days, it's 60 days.
Oh, 60 days, sorry, thank you.
So Mr. Pale prepared the fifth amendment budget.
This one.
For the benefit of council, if the speaker allows him to address council.
Chris.
Morning, Madam Speaker, Madam Dear, Madam Mayor and councillors. So the fifth adjustment budget tabled here today is for unforeseen and unavoidable expenditure that occurred on the 24th of June when one of our mini substations incurred damage at the Willow Rock area due to a cable failure. It was deemed that the whole substation needed to be replaced as a result of the damage. As council is aware, there was an adjustment passed regarding unforeseen and unavoidable on the 26th of June. Unfortunately, due to the timing of this incident, it was not at that point in time feasible for the municipality to include this item as part of their adjustment budget. As at that point, we didn't have all the figures yet from the use of government. So, as per legislation, it does then meet the definition of unforeseen and avoidable. And if approved by the mayor, adjustment budget will come to council within 60 days after the expenditure has been incurred. So, in line with this adjustment budget, the use department identified savings in terms of own funding to fund the transformer that was placed. The savings have been identified in terms of the ride-on lawnmower capital project, where the project is complete, tractor, as well as the third project, which is pump station equipment replacement. Altogether, that value is about 505,000. The user department had about 115,000 still left in their budget. So, to top of that funding, we moved from those three departments that budget, and all in all, the value of the substation is about 620,427 rand. And for that, that's the adjustment that we moved.
Just to be curious, Mr. Bay, well, if something has not been budgeted for, then it means we are allowed to do adjustment budget, not so to correct what we have used because it was not budgeted.
To you, Speaker. So in this case, Councillor, the item was budgeted. However, insufficient budget remained when the incidents occurred. So they had about 115,000 left. But to procure this substation costed about 620,000. And that allowed for unforeseen and unavoidable expenditure because the substation affected basically was linked to the sewer pump stations in that area as well. So hence the unforeseen and hence the adjustment budget top up that fund. Does that answer your question, Councillor?
Let me leave it there. I don't want to create havoc. Because there are so many, the sewer that was in Kwanubutula, you see, we have to wait for a new budget. You see? Yeah. No, shut up. Shut up.
You better.
Shut up.
Yeah, dude.
I was talking to him, not shut up.
You must shut up.
Speaker, the more we sit in council and we hear out reasons for adjustments and motivations, the more I realize that the most basic service delivery that we've failed as this municipality to actually budget for and ensure that it is actually a change is brought about, I think it's just based on decision making. It is not because we are constrained financially. Because I'm grasping from what Mr. Pale is saying that there was a saving that was actually identified on our borrowings. I must remind this council.
That's correct.
I must remind this council that the first time we took a loan, it was said to be covering our amongst other capital projects, our sewer lines and. But we've not seen a result of that in our communities. And I'm not in any case disputing the spending that was actually done on that workstation, on that substation. But point I'm making is if such changes are actually done based on there was a need for it or an unforeseen and unavoidable and meaning the situations we are sitting with in KwaNobuThula, it just requires decision making, but we are not considering it. Because that's what I'm grasping from this conversation, which now begs a question, because I've always asked. We keep doing the borrowings and saying they are meant for basic service delivery. I've not received to this day a clear breakdown on what went where on the first 29 million and the 67 subsequent to that. So I really am worried when I sit in council and I listen to such adjustments that are made for lofty areas. However, our areas are actually in ruins and there's no consideration that's done. And that's just my expression and my sentiments about the adjustments.
CFO?
Okay, thanks, Speaker. Speaker, through you, just to assist in terms of providing the response from what Councillor Kapaye has asked. Speaker, what we have done since it was towards the end of the financial year. Now within the directorate, we needed to identify monies that will not be spent since we were at the end of the year. So what we have done now, we have looked at different line items and we identified that those monies they would not have been spent in any way because it's at the end of the financial year. So now then from those, then we quantify that in order for us to be able then to move those monies to one particular UK that will be perfect. That will be a perfect fit for this for this mini substation. So this is what happened. So the budget itself, it did not create any upwards or any downwards. It was just a movement of funds. The reason why we come into council, in terms of the adjustment budget is because it cut across functions. Once it cut across functions, then it becomes an adjustment budget. So then this adjustment budget then is informed by the unavoidable and unforeseen. We could have not waited for council to sit in order for us to address that issue. Hence, then the mayor has prerogative in terms of the MFMP to approve and then report to council 60 days after that approval. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Chris Bay?
Just a correction, Speaker, for Councillor Mala. The funding used was our own funding, was not borrowings. Because as per legislation, aren't allowed borrowings without a public participation process as previously done. They took up the borrowings. So it was own funding savings that was utilized towards the emergency or unforeseen level.
Thank you, Chris, for the clarification. Madam Mayor? Yeah.
Okay, no, Speaker, I was just on a point of clarity to say that, you know, we went through the same process during the disaster period when assets within all our communities were identified to be non-functional, and we had to make decisions to get those the pump stations back to normal. Even there was issues affecting Kwanakatula that were also included in the previous adjustment budget. So this is not about an affluent area. This is simply something happened at the substation. It was unforeseen and unavoidable. We had to identify savings, and those savings was identified for us to implement. Just a correction. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Bill?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I propose that we as council accept the adjustment budget. Continue.
Proposed by Madam Mayor, then seconded by Bill. Moving to the next item.
And now moving to section 3. Item C stroke 3 stroke 392 stroke 07 stroke 26. Report on digitization and offsite storage project for the period September 2025 to June 2026 from page 249.
Item 7. Bill?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I propose that we note the item and go with the recommendation.
Councillor Fair? Next item.
Item C stroke 3 stroke 394 stroke 07 stroke 26. Progress report on the development, evaluation, and moderation of the municipal job descriptions from page 258.
Sorry.
Is it not true?
Sorry, Madam Speaker. Skip the
Yeah, there's an item that has been skipped over time.
items 3 stroke 3 stroke 393 stroke 07 stroke 26. Overtime report for the month of April 2026 until June 2026 from page 254.
Item 7. Bill?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, unless there is something important that somebody from the finance side or the acting MM would like us to pay attention to, I propose that we note the item.
Councillor Fair?
On the report, look at the recommendation.
Next item.
Item C stroke 3 stroke 394 stroke 07 stroke 26. Progress report on the development, evaluation, and moderation of the municipal job descriptions from page 258.
Item 7.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, can I ask that the acting director just give us a headline overview of the item?
Director. A brief summary on this item.
Okay, is administratively, we're following a process to update all the job descriptions because since 2024, when the organizational structure changed, you then have to do a re-evaluation of positions depending on how the posts were aligned. We acknowledge that there is a bit of slow movement with it, but we are starting to move with it. And the focus now on the job descriptions is also to update those as we are advertising positions. So we have made an improvement since we started in April, May and June. There has been an improvement in terms of the upgrading of job descriptions.
Bill, Councillor
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Director. And that is why I asked the Director just to give us a headline, because it is noted that there is movement and progress in this very important area, and hopefully it will ultimately culminate in an audit of the whole structure and KPIs to the whole thing. For that, I propose to be noted.
Councillor Mangaba.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I do hope that the evaluation of job descriptions and the moderation thereof is also reflective of the challenges that we faced as council when it comes to appointing senior officials. Because it will be a tick box exercise for us to actually review if we don't consider those gaps. Case one, we had appointed Ms. Alderman at planning as the director. Later received a letter from the MEC of the gaps thereof in her experience. Subsequent to that, we appointed Marcel at planning. We celebrated that we are actually looking after one of our own. A month later, we received a letter that is not condoning that appointment. All those speakers spoke to the gaps in experience in mid-management position based on the fact that if you don't have people reporting to you, you don't have such an experience. Now, if we are looking at re-evaluating job descriptions, those must be considered, or else these benefits of bursaries and onboarding and would be wasted if succession is not filtered into these reviews. So I need us to be intentional with this job description, moderations and reviews are actually concerned. We've encountered challenges in terms of attracting or promoting people from inside based just off that, not because they're not qualified, not because we don't trust that they can deliver, but because when it comes to the requirements of such a role, there's expectation that they must acquire this experience and that may all of that have been considered in all this review.
Councillor Mangaba for the inputs. Councillor Olivier.
I second it.
Thank you. Moving to the next item.
Item 3/395/07/26. Employee compliance with monthly KPI update on the individual performance management system, quarter April to June 2026 from page 262.
Item is 7. Bill.
Madam Speaker, although the participation is not where it should be, it is improving. I propose it be notified.
Councillor Olivier. Next item.
Item C/3/397/07/26. Quarterly report recruitment and selection for the period 01 April 2026 until 30 June 2026 from page 265.
Item is 7.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I propose we go with the recommendation.
Councillor Olivier.
Second the recommendation.
Next report.
Item C/3/399/07/26. Quarterly report for quarter 4 April 2026 to June 2026. Human resource benefits and administration from page 270.
Item is 7. Councillor Mangaba.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, this item is actually very important. And I do hope while on the item that as the municipality through the Office of the Director of Corporate Services, that we ensure that benefits of our staff is actually captured appropriately and it goes off as it should from month to month. I was reading an article just 2 days ago where quite a number of companies in Plato were flagged as have not contributed to employee pensions for over 6 months. And it gave me nightmares because I remember in November, we were faced with the same, where negligence and lack of responsibility of one official caused for a group of our staff to actually be left out of their Provident Fund contributions. And I must remind you that part of the benefits of those contributions is that there's a portion that comes from the employer. Now, if we have people within our system who do not have pension funds allocated to their names, we now running a risk that in as much as we do not deduct their contributions from their salaries, we are also depriving them of the benefits that actually comes from the employee, from the employer rather, just based on those admin errors. So I think it's important that we master ensuring that everyone within the ambit of our space is captured as it should.
Thank you, Councillor Mangaba.
With recommendations.
Thank you. Proposed by Councillor Ombile and seconded by Councillor.
It was proposed by Councillor.
By me. One bill. Seconded by him.
Proposed by Councillor Mangaba and seconded by Councillor Ombile. Next section.
We are moving to section 4, community services. C/4/365/07/26. Bitou Municipality Social Development Strategy from page 278.
Item is 7, Councillor Olivier.
Recommendation.
Councillor Swart.
Second.
Next item.
3/4/366/07/26. Administrative classification, road transport and offences, non-participation of the Western Cape municipalities in the rollout from page 310.
Item is 7, Councillor Olivier.
What the recommendation?
Councillor Swart. Next item.
Section 5, engineering services, C/5/298/27/07/26. Road, transport and stormwater capital projects implementation plan report for period ending June 2026 from page 668.
Item is 7, Councillor Olivier.
What's the recommendation?
Councillor Tablanche.
Yeah, before you see now. Figure here on this page 670. Yeah. The director would know that I'm really not happy in terms of how the project is rolling in for the cul-de-sac. We are standing currently now on 53%. Where my worry is it was budgeted under the 25-26 financial year. And there's no start of the project in Ward 4, whilst we are now in 26-27 financial year. And I'm worried if whether the money is still available to be used because it's now on 53%. And the contractor came there, they just scraped the road, the gravel path, and they left. Up until now, there's no sign of that contractor under the cul-de-sac for Ward 4. And I'm really worried that we are not completing that project. So whether the money is still available, will the project continue? It is my concern because the answers I'm not happy with. Because as much as they say, we're looking in, I don't see the contractor on the ground. So if the director can just also then update me on the latest for that project.
We can take that money for electricity, man. We've been getting a lot of money.
Thank you, Speaker. Yeah, so there was going to be a report back on the 18th of August, which is your community meeting, and you requested. However, this person would be fine to do the report back too. And I believe that the head of roads and stormwater did meet with you last week.
to discuss your cul-de-sac and the grading of the road. Now, the project has not come to an end. It's a progressive project. So, but the report back will still happen on the 8th. Just inform yourself and the community.
That's what?
Once that the branch is not seconding, then I'll second that.
Maybe you're not going to fight today. Second.
Who was seconding? Who? Councillor, I propose then seconding. All right. Moving to the next item.
3/5/299/07/26. Capital Project Implementation Plan CPIP report for period ending June 2026 from page 672.
Item 7, Councillor Swart.
Speaker, I've just got a question. If I look at, if we look at some of the projects, we can see, especially with some of the borrowings, I just want to go to the one in particular. There's two actually. In page 673, we'll see the Curland upgrade water treatment works. We've spent 94%. And the comments are that the project was successfully completed and the savings was realized. And if we go to page 677, the Curland waste facility, the drop-off, also at 95%, the project was successfully completed and the savings realized. My concern on this is, in 2 years' time, someone looks at this report and says, but we only spent 95% of our budget. It's actually short spent. But in fact, the project's completed and we've had the savings. How do we reflect this going forward so that it shows 100% completion? Because that's effectively what it is.
Exactly.
But our reports are showing different. So if we actually look at the borrowings on page 677, we see borrowings is at 94% spent. But there is another project there that's at 88%. But that probably should be around 95, 96% spent and on time as well. But someone looking at this report in a year's time is going to say, we never spent all our money and we underspent. We didn't, in fact, underspend. How do we reflect that correctly in our figures?
Councillor Swart, Executive Mayor.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, mine is around the concerns for the current wastewater treatment works. I see in the supply chain management report, the advertisement for the tender in terms of the chemical and electrical works has been delayed due to some specifications issues. I just want to make sure that we have to move on that one, because this project specifically is also very important for the planned housing project. And we cannot delay the specs or the advertisement because of our management issues. It has been a multi-year project. It started about 2 financial years ago, and now we are at the last week. So I need to know that we are really moving on it. On the administration find one another between the technical committees and committees and all the other committees that they have, that we don't go through processes. Efforts go out and then afterwards are being sent back because of specification issues. It is delaying our service delivery. Speaker. Then also, I think we have been trying with the Nature's Valley. There's a VAR project. There's an issue there with the way leave from ESCOM. That project is now installed. We've written to the Ministry for Public Works. I don't think we had any response. We tried the Western Cape Infrastructure Ministry. They referred it back to us, saying that's not within our jurisdiction. Please, can we get in touch with the Ministry of Public Works again? My worry is that project was supposed to be completed, and now it affects the water supply of the Nature's Valley area. It doesn't just affect the supply, it affects the quality of the water as well, because now they work out of these tanks, and if something happens, the tank can empty, then the village out supply. it's just, internally it's creating a lot of problems. So I want to know what can we do to escalate that matter as well. On the issues, mostly we know that we can see some of the projects are 100% spent, which simply means that they spend 100% of the budget. If it's 95% spent, they spend 95% of the available budget, and there's a 5% savings. But my issue is those two. I don't need to get answers now. I want to be later meeting. But please, with the Nature's Valley Reservoir and the current wastewater treatment works, these are issues that I want to. Thank you.
Councillor Swart, then Councillor Mangaba.
Thank you, Speaker. Just on what the Mayor said now. So if we look on page 677, it does say challenges completion of Nature's Valley Reservoir project. But it doesn't say what the problem is here. Someone reading this report is going to assume that as a municipality or engineering, something's not been done. But the challenges are not municipal related. And that would give explanation then also as to why there's no spending when there should have been spending. So we need to have more detailed information in cases like this so that we can understand. But we must remember these reports are available to the public, and the public can always interpret this. And then just going back to what I asked you as well, we've seen the note savings of approximately 1.5 million accounts for 53% of unspent budget. So it's showing that 53% unspent, but actually we've completed the projects. So somehow we need to align that. I don't know if it must be done through an adjustment budget or how we do that, but that somehow got to align that the reporting reflects what actually happened.
Thank you, Speaker. Councillor Swart has covered me appropriately because I think we all know that when it comes to the CIPC? I'm always it's CP, Capital Project Implementation Plan. I'm always the one that says there's gaps in these reports, or these reports are actually not clear. You are left not knowing whether is it done or there's numbers thrown at us so that we stop asking questions. And I did make an entry that it would actually do us good that we get before and after pictures for anything and everything that is said to be done, so we know exactly what's what. And again, it's true. 95% is actually not 100%. Now, if next to a 95%, you get a comment such as completed savings is made, and then you find that the timeline in terms of the completion of the project is actually 2028, you are left confused now. Okay, between now at 95 to 2028, nothing will be done. Or in terms of challenges and all of that. That's why, in as much as it's good that the reports are actually coming to council, and for a change where PMU or engineering is concerned, we find that there's actually greater spending. We would actually want to know exactly the crux of what is it that is actually a hold up if there's a challenge, so that we are able to break it down. Because if us here are unable to actually make sense of what we're reading, you can imagine whoever else is actually listening would actually be confused in terms of what is it that's going on. Hence, it's always important for every director to be ready to actually take us through their report so that we know exactly what sort of challenges there are, what sort of snags there are. And again, a report for me is not a report if we keep asking questions, because when you read a report, you need to get to a level where you are actually okay with the information that you're furnished with, and that you go with the recommendations.
The Mayor?
No, Speaker, I just became a bit confused because maybe my understanding is different. I hear what the councillors are saying. From my understanding, you do adjustment budgets mid-year to, align the budget, whether if we see we might need more money to another project, whatever. And if there's a savings at the end of the financial year, I think that's the money that normally goes into the reserve. Is that correct?
Okay.
For the outer year, yes. So let's say if the project is, because this one just speaks to the expenditure of the project, the money, the budget. That's where the percentage is coming in. It's not in relation to the completion, but I think the point is that in the comment section, maybe we should explain better so that the public can also get a better understanding. then it's the expenditure where there's a, you understand, it's reflecting what the percentage for that specific financial year. So if it says it will continue in the next financial year, then it means we allocated a budget into the next financial year. For instance, with the current wastewater treatment and this other project, it was multi-year projects. So now if you read, you will even see here by the draft in very sports field, it does say it will continue in the next financial year. But the current financial year, the budget has been spent 95%.
Then now, excuse me, which then now begs the question, Executive Mayor, that is it, because when you start to read, if you read the item in itself, it speaks to the implementation. Now, already when you go to the background and comments, you somewhat get an idea that you are being reported to about the progress of the project. However, it switches to becoming a financial report, which now leaves us in a state of limbo, because now you're not sure whether or not you are being fed the financial aspect of the project, because when you go through, you do find a bit of detail, but it's a detail you can't use as an implementation plan or a progress to the project, because now it leaves you wanting, because you are caught between numbers and short explanations that do not really make sense.
Maybe we must.
Perhaps we should be clear that, when we receive such reports, there must be a financial and a non-financial. On a non-financial side, we need to get exactly the crux of the progress of the project, pictures of befores and afters and all of that, so that we are able to own these projects as well. Because we don't want to sit in a situation where we say a project is done to find that there's no project, to find that there was never a project to begin with, because we are just fed numbers and progressions and all of that. I'm not sure whether that makes sense.
It makes sense.
Thank you.
CFO?
Okay, no, thanks, Speaker. Speaker, before you, maybe then the director sitting next to me, he must just then improve this spreadsheet so that it reflects the project. Because, surely this one, it reports on the financial information, so that at least this can be extended in terms of the progress of the project itself, especially if it's a multi-year, so that if it's sitting at 86% or 50%, so that councillors can also be aware that the project itself is sitting at a certain percentage.
Thank you, CFO. On Bill?
Mr. Speaker, thank you. In line with Mr. Mapai's comment, I think while reviewing the spreadsheet, particular attention should be paid to the column headings, because within those column headings, there could be confusion. I think amongst others, the item that Councillor Swart raised earlier on the 5% saving and the 95% completion. It's easy to confuse these items in the present format. So perhaps it should be studied clearly and clearly, so that we can actually get a particularly accurate and descriptive report.
That's what?
Thank you, Speaker. Okay, so Speaker, with my comments, I wanted to elaborate on it just so the understanding of where I was coming from, but it is covered in point number 2 in the recommendations. I don't know if Councillor Sam actually proposed that we go through the recommendations in his talk or not. And then I want to accuse him of not proposing something that he maybe did propose.
I propose a thing.
Because I want to propose then that we go with the recommendations as I stand.
So I fear.
I'll second that.
Next section.
Section 6, Planning and Development, C/6/262/07/26. Review of the Bitou Street naming and numbering policy from page 680.
The item is taken. Councillor Sethi.
Very much, Speaker. I know what you're gonna speak now. There is this saying that says the one who speaks last in the meeting. All right. On this one, I'm not going to comment. It's just a question to the relevant office. What is the current status of our street naming application in phase 4? Are there any specific delays? Because we did that, I think, earlier this year. Am I audible?
Okay, if I may,
Yes.
through you. Yes, Councillor, we did get the names that you proposed or that we suggested, and you accepted. So that it is in the process to go to the Surveyor General's office.
Councillor Seth, did you get the answer?
Yes, but I'm not sure if that is what I was asking, because I have, in my what, I have phase 4 and phase 5. We did phase 4 successfully, but then now we're still stuck with phase 5, which I think what committees and the community didn't like the way that the planning just gave us the names, like those names, they didn't like it. But I'm asking for the phase 4, because we're done with that one. We're done with phase 4. How far is phase 4?
Speaker, I must admit I'm not quite on top of the street naming. I know that we did make proposals to the ward chair. I'll have to follow up on that if you allow me to.
Thank you. DM?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think this item comes really for addressing what the councillor said is bringing bits of changes that are there. Because all along, street naming is being done, and you find that a duplication of the names in different areas, and some of the names are not even the names of, let's say, indigenously of the people of the area. They are just taken somewhere. So this policy is saying now, yes, let there be a database of the names where people are putting the names in the database, what committees, what councillors, every people, they put it there and remain being in the database. And the names that you'll find that have been duplicated from different areas, we can be able to say this name has been used in a certain area. So now we will choose what is in the database. This policy comes strictly for avoiding those kind of cases. Hence, it is here for it to be approved because of the changes, because there's duplications. You'll find there's a Bluecom Street in Kranshoek. You even find the Bluecom Street in Craigs. You even find the Bluecom Street in Horizons. And those things are bringing a confusion. And all the areas will have in Nelson Mandela Drive, all the areas will have the same drive. So this is exactly for establishing a database. We do it once in a term, then we start getting with new areas that are coming. We take from there instead of repeating the process now and again, and we take from those names and place to the areas. So what committees will go and choose from what is in the database and place in. This policy is exactly to give that directive.
Mangaba Boulevard.
And I can see my name and councillors on those names. There's not even a duplicate. Where are one names?
I saw Simobo goalkeeper. I'm like,
we're supposed to be there.
The name of soccer is this now?
It says
yes, that's supposed to be amongst those.
Policy says names of living person cannot be placed in.
No, but that policy was written by a man. We can change.
It's still saying that.
Can change.
It. Guys in, fine.
Don't call it.
That's not like the order saying back. We can't find Omakoti Boulevard because they passed away. When those names of living persons as the legacy of a person is only affirmed after they are dead. So I'm just.
Is
naming. Thank you, madam.
I feel it.
Stop that. Order, Mr. I was still. There's exactly those things. Name things with living people, you know. And when it goes now, you see repetition. And just tell me who wants again to be seated.
What is
the name?
What are you saying, Mr. Shuba?
No, I'm not saying.
Mr. Shuba is my friend.
Exactly what you are avoiding. Let's put not
the trailblazer.
The people.
He's.
Can we have a proposer and a seconder so that we move?
Speaker, can we amend the policy? Must take out that line that says we You can't have a little person who's named after a. No, the thing must be removed.
Yeah, because most of the names in Banakola are living people.
Why must we wait?
Many stadiums.
Why must we wait up until you die before we give you your flowers?
Exactly. I want my name there now. So, Zagalo. We've got a license. Bill.
Thank you, Madam.
I agree with this.
The proposal of Municipal Law.
My section has been I've been from my father's name.
She is seconding me, so there's counter.
This is my. Okay. Said it proposed and was seconded by
However, there was a counter. No, I'm not even joking. There's a counter proposal. Don't laugh at this.
Seconded. What is
Counter proposal. Don't say that. No, there's two views.
It's your view and Councillor said in DM.
Let's put it on the vote, babes.
So.
But that's the recommendation.
I'm undercover person. I'm gonna build 3 monuments and 3 schools and they'll be named after me.
Let's last moving to the next item, which is item number 11. We are done now with item 10, which was the
motion of exigency.
Matter submitted by the municipal manager.
Motion of exigency.
It is.
Okay, there's something there. The document is there under your.
We're not going to accept it.
This one, I don't say that, please.
I just thought.
Motion of exigency must be approved by majority of council. It must be approved first, for to be read.
Yeah, process and
There's a matter of exigency from my side. The appointment of acting director, corporate services, TM Wilderman. An application was lodged to the provincial minister, and the minister then approved the extension of the acting period from the 1st of August 2026 until 31st of October 2026. Thank you. Director Corporate Service.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Acting MM, that was urgent matter submitted by the municipal manager. We are moving now to item number 12, which is consideration of notices of motions and received. Item number 13, consideration of notices of questions, none received. Item number 14 is consideration of motion of exigency, none received. We are moving now to item number 15, which is the in-committee matters. Can the officials that are not part of the in-committee please excuse us? We are not taking a break. We just allow them to excuse us so that we carry on.